Someone can forgive you but still choose to be far away from you. It doesn't mean that they haven't forgiven. Do not bring a defensive tone. Listen to understand, not to answer. Again, when there is an issue, do not attack the person. Respond to that issue. We are living as singles, even as you are married. Only come together when there is an issue. We're in a moment where many couples are living like roommates. And most importantly, please remove devices when both of you are having those intentional dates, are having meaningful conversations. Many individuals today we meet on our daily basis are either survivors or victims of broken families. How do you heal, rebuild, and restore family that is broken? In the last episode, we talked about responsibilities and roles. But most importantly, what leads a family to break? And one of our audience asked this question: when a family is already broken, how do you heal, restore, and build the trust within those affected? So on today's episode, we are going to answer this question. What do we do when the damage is already here? Maybe it's communication that has broken down. Respect in the house is long gone, and now it's in a moment where silence has replaced intimacy. But I want us to hear this. God is a restorer. In the book of Joel chapter 2 verse 25, it says, I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. So no matter how long this has been, no matter what you think the situation looks like, if you trust in the Lord, He is the only shield you got. He is the only person that can rebuild, that can restore, that can give life again. Because again, it is Him that gives life in everything. But now the most important question is, are you willing to participate in that restoration process? Because it is a process. It's not an overnight thing. And this episode will be highly beneficial for everyone, or to everyone that they think that they have gotten to that end stage. They have given up completely on their partners. I would encourage you to listen to this or watch this with an open heart, with an understanding in a Christ perspective, not in the world perspective. So in case you're just tuning in now, my name is Jennifer K.O. I am the host of How True Is Your Truth podcast. It's such a great honor to share this space and moment with you. So let's get started. Our aim on this series is to restore families, rebuild what has been broken, what we have damaged. It's not about complaining. It's not about blaming another party. It's not about judgment. It's about standing up and restoring everything that belongs to us. The enemy cannot play us anymore. We have got everything we need to fight this battle because we have the one that fights for us. Our Lord Jesus Christ not only fight, but He has won every battle that you might be going through right now. So all you need is to stand and claim your position in Christ. So let's get started. If you are truly looking to rebuild, to restore the happiness, the trust, the love in your marriage, the step number one would be to admit that there is a crack. Something has gone somewhere. You cannot heal what you do not acknowledge. You cannot solve the issue that you are not aware of. So acknowledge that something has happened. The shift didn't just happen. Pretending on the outside, showing the world that everything is fine when you are bleeding inside, it doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help you. The book of James chapter 5 verse 16, it says, confess your faults one to another and pray for one another that you may be healed. So we need to confess. We need to speak out. Nobody is above mistakes. And I quite understand that the mistakes may not what have caused that issue. It's most definitely the sins that we take place in or we involve ourselves in. But regardless, if you understand that you are a human being, we understand that we are all sinners. So confess to one another. If you truly value that relationship, if you truly value that family, if you truly value that marriage, and the most important, the covenant that both of you joined, healing requires honesty. And the honesty starts with you. In that position or role that you are on, you need to be honest with yourself, to your partner, to your children, to family members. If you're feeling emotionally alone, speak out. If you feel like you're not valued enough or respected enough or loved enough, speak out. Address the issue. Let your partner know. If you think you're not being appreciated in the manner that you want, speak out. Let your partner know. There's some things that we need to understand. You are two different individuals that has come together to make this life look like one. So there is a lot of work that needs to happen. There is a lot, both in the inside and the outside work that will take place in both of you. So be patient with each other. Learn, study, and understand each other on a daily basis. Don't just assume. Seek clarification. Ask your partner. Because when you get to understand each other, I can assure you, your journey or the battles that you might face in that relationship will have been decreased maybe by 50% if you get to understand each other. But if you refuse to acknowledge what has happened, the faults that has taken place in that marriage, that's where resentment starts to grow. Both of you will start feeling distant. And as time passes by, that distance will become normal. Now, that's a very dangerous place to be. Now, step number 2. Once you acknowledge that, yes, there is a fault, there is a problem that needs to be fixed, and this problem caused the damage. When a damage happens in the marriage, the very first thing to be affected is trust between the couple. Now, I want you to understand, how do you go about to rebuild that trust? Because once you'll be able to rebuild the trust, the rest of the problems will be easily solved more than you can imagine. But the issue is people do not understand how trust is rebuilt. This is a process. In fact, it depends on what happened, depends on the issue that occurred in that marriage. Rebuilding trust may take forever. So it's not something you say you're going to act in this manner to please your wife or your husband in a week or a month or 6 months. And then you tell yourself, you should be fine. Everything should be okay now. No. That actually depends on the affected person and their relationship with God. Because it is only God that has access to everyone's heart. And when we speak about trust, it's an heart issue. That damage that takes place, it affects her emotions or his emotions, their confidence, their faith in you. So it is not something that you just do on the outside and you think is normal or is okay. No, there is a lot of work that happens. Before you start thinking of rebuilding trust, the first step that takes place is forgiveness. Now forgiveness can happen verbally. Now forgiveness, what simply means is that the two parties have agreed to give each other another chance. Not necessarily that the wound that you caused in those people is now gone. No, forgiveness is a verbal thing. When people are still processing, let me see what happens. Maybe they might change. Maybe what they are saying right now is correct and they will work on it. Let me see what will happen. So let me try again. So that is a forgiveness. Someone, when they say, I have forgiven you, it doesn't mean that their pain is gone. No, the pain is still there. The wound is still so fresh. But what you do right after that forgiveness process is what will bring healing. And the healing of those wounds that you cause is what will determine how fast or slow the trust will be rebuilt. And that's why whoever has broken that trust, whoever initiated the issue in that marriage, has to be fully responsible in rebuilding that trust, regardless of another party's emotions and attitudes. Yes, you will have to bear with that because you started it. You damaged the heart of that person. And that's why I would tell you, how long will it take? Only God knows. So yes, you will have to be patient. That trust can be rebuilt for sure, but it requires consistency. It requires patience. It requires transparency and accountability, not on a surface level, but deep one. You don't have to do things in an acting mode. You need to mean what you are doing because your partner is watching. The way you talk, the things you do, how you go about everything in that house, but most importantly, in that area where the issue occurred first. If it was finance, if it was about faithfulness between you two, in any area, the other partner is watching, constantly watching. So the moment you repeat the pattern, whether close by, you are already alerting your partner to be cautious. You bring the possibilities and imaginations in the other partner to stay on alert, like, okay, this might happen again. Now you're slowing down the process of rebuilding trust. So please, once you know that something has happened and you truly understand that you need to rebuild the trust between the two of you, be intentional. Mean what you do. So whether the betrayal was emotional or physical, it will still require the same procedures to rebuild. Not by what you say, but by the patterns of your actions. In that moment, what you do matters more than what you say. In psychology, we understand that trust is rebuilt when behavior is predictable and safe. And so the same thing happens here, even spiritually. So your behaviors has to be predictable. Your wife or your husband has to be able to predict the outcomes and have to feel safe, the most importantly. So yes, we understand the word of God encourages us to forgive one another just like the Lord forgave us. But do not confuse forgiveness and healing. Someone can forgive you but still choose to be far away from you. It doesn't mean that they haven't forgiven. They have forgiven you, but they can't stand your behaviors because they understand that they cannot change you. It is not their job. It is your responsibility to change what causes problems in that partnership, in that marriage. So yes, they might forgive you, but they will not ignore the boundaries that keeps them safe and sanity. Now, what about communication? How do we repair communication if it's broken down? Again, communication will be easily repaired if trust has been rebuilt, because everyone is feeling safe to share their emotions, their feelings, their ideas or concerns between the two parties. The reason communication will continue to be a problem or is still a problem in your relationship because there are some levels of trust that has been broken in your marriage. And one sign for you to understand that trust is still an issue in your relationship is when two parties are having an argument and one person brings the past issues. So understand that it's just not that they don't want to move forward. No, they haven't healed from what happened. So instead of you blaming them, why are you still talking about the things that happened 10 years ago? No. Sit down, have uncomfortable conversations. Go to the root of that issue. Try to fix it once and for all. Do not blame. They are telling you that they're still pained. They're still not healed. Yes, they have forgiven you because they didn't want to take revenge, or they're no longer willing to revenge, but they're still pained. They still don't trust. Apart from that, some other communication issues, this is something that truly we do not get to understand, especially before marriage. But it is very important. Any person, whether male or female, that is looking to get into marriage, please understand that communication is very important. We need to understand how to communicate. It is something that I myself, I continue to learn. Because the things or the way you think that you need to be communicated to or spoken to is not what your partner values or is not the ways that he wants. So you need to respect enough that this is his own way. And for me to align, to work together, we need to come. Like all of us, we need to meet in the middle and build some sort of understanding of how we can communicate without downgrading one or another's emotions or feelings or ideas or point of views. So it is something we need to understand. Do not interrupt one another. Let one partner or one person speak their mind before you can jump in. Do not bring a defensive tone. Listen to understand, not to answer. Again, when there is an issue, do not attack the person. Respond to that issue. When people tell you this is how they feel, do not downgrade them. Yes, they mean it. Understand them and help them come from that feeling and help them understand either what you meant or what it is about, or ask them how can you help them feel better. And this is the area where we really need to be very careful, because in the book of Proverbs chapter 18 verse 21, it tells us that the death and life are in the power of our tongue. So what we speak, again, we might be speaking out of anger, and honestly, this happens. It occurs a lot. Myself, as I told you, this is an area that I continue to work on myself. So you need to understand. Hold yourself from speaking, please. If you know that when you speak, you cause damage, hold yourself. And help your partner understand that there is a moment where you cannot speak. You need some time to regulate and think about everything, process it well before you can address it. It is very important, because trust me, when that tone shifts, even the home or people within that home shift. So yes, let's be very careful and intentional in everything that we do within our families. Okay, now let's speak about emotional intimacy. We're in a moment where many couples are living like roommates. They co-parent, they coexist, but they do not connect. Actually, they have normalized having deep conversation and uncomfortable ones only when there's an argument. That's a moment you can see them try to connect. But what are we building? That is to show that both of you have forgotten why you came together in the first place. Because you are living as singles, even as you are married. Only come together when there is an issue. That's not marriage. Marriage is supposed to work as one. Two people become one flesh, walk on the same path, have shared values, understanding, vision. But again, there is still an opportunity. You still have a chance to rebuild this. And there are different ways that you can rebuild this. For me, the first thing I tell everybody is go back to how it started. Can you try to go back and think about how did you people connect? Go back there. Check what you can do. Can you bring that connection back? What are the things that you guys loved to do in the beginning? Is it to pray together? Is it to take a walk together? Is it to dance together or worship together? Is it to sit and chat? Whatever that was, bring it back. But again, you are already married now. Plan intentional dates. Check in with each other. Are they feeling happy? Do they think that they are losing themselves? Are they on track with their goals, their personal goals and missions? How can both of you help each other grow, heal, prosper? And most importantly, please remove devices when both of you are having those intentional dates, are having meaningful conversations. Choose only the two of you and put your phone down. Connect in a real time. If you read the book of Song of Solomon, it tells us that romance and affection matters a lot in the marriage. So do not overlook that. It's very important for both of you to remain connected. But most importantly, pray together. Remember, it is the Lord that builds the house. Otherwise, the builders labors in vain. So yes, both of you are building. But if you do not involve Jesus Christ into what you are building, you are all laboring in vain. Now, another important part not to forget about. How is everything that is happening in the marriage, all the issues or challenges we think we are battling, how are the children being affected? The truth is they are highly affected because the children models everything that the parents do. They learn by watching, by hearing, by seeing what we do. How do we communicate? How do we handle those misunderstandings? So everything that happens between the parents affects the children. In fact, they're the ones that are highly impacted even more than the partners themselves. So yes, sometimes we might think that the children are young, but they feel the tension more than what we can think. So how can we restore if our children have been impacted? It's important we apologize, first of all, about our actions, our attitudes towards each other, to our children. So they can understand that whatever mom and dad were doing is wrong. It's not about you putting yourself down with your parent. No, we need to learn. We need to normalize apologizing to our children whenever we engage in bad behaviors between each other. In that manner, we are also modeling forgiveness so that when they grow up, they can understand what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. But most importantly, how can they forgive? Again, we need to involve them in any changes that is taking place in the family. This, we are modeling honesty and transparency and how to resolve conflicts between the two people. That is leadership right there. So yes, we cannot neglect the children thinking that they are young to understand or engage in this conversation. No. They see and they understand and they feel pain, even if sometimes they won't be able to communicate to you. So yes, if there's a crack in your family, the Lord can bind it. In the book of Psalms, chapter 147, verse 3, it tells us that the Lord heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. So yes, regardless of what has happened, the Lord can fix it. If you truly trust Him and you are willing to participate in that restoration, journey. It will not happen overnight. So be patient with yourself. Be patient with your partner. But most importantly, walk in the understanding of Jesus Christ. So he can help you, he can strengthen you to walk in that journey of rebuilding whatever has been broken. Some families might need counseling. Others may just need repentance. Some you may find that all they need is humility and boundaries. Whichever the case you found yourself in, please understand that the Lord is the one that restores everything. And yes, he can restore your family if you are ready to walk with him. I hope you found this conversation meaningful and helpful to you and your family. But if you do, please let me know in the comment section. And do not forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so. By subscribing, you are helping me not only to grow, but you're helping this message to go to wider experience and reach the families that might be needing this type of conversation. So yes, go ahead, share this video with a family that you value. Whether it's a family member, friend, share it around so that everybody can understand that yes, despite many families has been broken right now, but the Lord has already promised us that he restores. He can give us everything that we think we have lost or the enemy has taken away from us. So yeah, my name is Jennifer K.O. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And I will see you on the next episode. Bye for now.